So Clara, what I wanted to talk to you about today was the new products that Hugo Dunhill Mailing List has created. We've started a division called Dunhill Interactive, and we're selling SEO marketing services. What product do you try and sell on your website?
Well, we focus on, lawn care, landscape services, fertilization, plants, anything to do with that type of industry.
And who are your customers?
We have residential, we have some commercial, but mainly the focus is on residential property.
Okay, and how do you do your advertising now?
We do have, a website. We do have in the yellow pages. There is a website up, and that's, I don't know how much traffic we can get from that, but mainly it's yellow pages or word of mouth.
And do you have paid advertising in the yellow pages?
Yes.
What do you think you spend in an average year?
Probably about $500-$600.
Okay. So here's what I have in mind. For the most part, do you find your yellow page advertising doing well? Is it getting you leads, or do you not know?
Not as it was in the past. We don't really keep track.
Right.
So I would say I'm not really sure.
Okay. So SEO marketing stands for search engine optimization. Essentially what it does is it optimizes your website specifically so that when someone were to look up landscaping or architecture landscaping in your area, that your website would come up near the top on a Google search or a Yahoo or a Bing search. The advantage of that is if I'm a consumer and I look up architectural landscaping or anything related like tree planting or something like that, and I'm looking for a vendor to help me, that your site would come up first, second, third, or fourth, and then if your site can convert that click, meaning my visit to your site effectively, and get you a lead that you can either call, or it lists a telephone number where they can call you and you answer the phone and you pick it up, then you pick up additional business. Do you understand, or do you know anything about SEO, or do you know anything about what I'm talking about?
I've heard of SEO, but not really what you're meaning about, how it all works and all the good things about it. So tell me, this is through Yahoo or Bing and Google, is that right?
Yeah, well, it really isn't. For the most part, Google is the dominant player in search engines, and they have algorithms that they use, which is a fancy way of saying they rate your site, and they rate the importance of your site, the veracity of your site, and they give it a value. And the tools that they use, and the actual pieces of the puzzle that they use to create that rating system are relatively well known to folks like us, and we use our skills to have your website favorably viewed by Google, so that when Google goes, and this is the way they do their analysis, is they crawl the internet and they find websites, and when they find a website, they analyze it. When we make changes to your website and other external attributes involved in SEO, we improve your ratings with Google and Bing and Yahoo, and so that when someone then does a search, you come up higher than somebody else who has not engaged in SEO activities.
What kind of changes to the site do you do? I mean, are you doing changes that I will see, or is it changes to something that is not seen?
Well, I would say I haven't looked at your website yet. For the most part, you will not see the changes. There are two major groupings of changes. One are called on-site changes. So, for instance, on your website, you have verbiage about what it is that you do, I imagine. That verbiage needs to be properly written so that the keyword densities, a keyword for you would be landscape architecture or landscaper. That is the word that someone uses to search in Google. That is your keyword. So if your keyword is landscaping, Google says something like this, that the keyword density, the percentage of times that the word landscaping is repeated on your web page, should be about 5% of the total number of words there. So if you said, oh, I think it's a better idea just to have the word landscaping 500 times and you only have 1,000 words on your page, Google's going to look at it and say, wait a minute, they're front loading this with the word landscaping just to get better. So Google has decided, well, you need to have, if you're going to be in landscaping, you also need to have supporting text for why you're a good landscaper, what your other products and services are. And so one attribute would be that we would make sure that your keyword density on your page is the right ratio.
Does it look at the web address, or does it look at the content in the page, in the website itself?
All of the above. So it looks at your URL.
Okay.
It looks at something called meta tags, which are like page labels that you can't see on your web page. It looks for the actual text of your website. All that's called on-page optimization.
And that's the first step?
That's the first step. The second step is off-page optimization. And off-page optimization is worth about 70% of your score, meaning your Google score. Off-site optimization looks at several things. Most importantly is link building. Links that go from external sites back to your site. Hold on just a second. Essentially, Google believes that there is great value in a link going from an external third-party site back to your site. And they think that's important because somebody else thinks that your site is important enough to have a link on. So let's use your landscaping as an example. Let's say that you purchase products from Scott's, right? Mm-hmm. So Scott's has a website, and let's say that somewhere on their website they have a list of their customers or of the dealers that purchase from them, and they have a link with your name and address and also your domain name back to your website. That is a very valuable link because not only is there a link from an external source to your site, but it's a relevant link. And it's a relevant link because Scott's has everything to do with landscaping. Mm-hmm. In fact, Scott's is a really good example because they probably have a lot of traffic. And because they have a lot of traffic, that they probably rank higher in Google, and because they rank higher in Google and they're connected to you, that lifts your ranking. So that is called off-site optimization and is an incredibly valuable commodity in the SEO world, and Google looks at that extremely favorably. And literally what we're going to try and do for you is to get as many relevant links as we can linked back to you.
Okay, and that's what you do, or is that something that I have to do? Go out to